Hey guys, it's Tricky Nick here. So it was recently announced that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom would be released at a steaming hot price of $70.
$50?
$60 plus tax.
$50. Incredible.
I'm not thrilled about this pricing, to say the least. So today, we're going to talk about all the reasons for that, and whether or not it's still worth buying, because quite frankly, I'm madder than Morton on a muffin playing the maracas. So without further ado, let's talk about why Tears of the Kingdom should not cost $70. So what's getting my goat about the price tag on Tears of the Kingdom? I guess a good place to start would be the 7 followed by a 0. There is no real reason to make this game $70. I've seen a few arguments as to why this makes sense, so let's go through all the popular ones and debunk them. The first and most common one that I've seen is they're raising the price due to inflation. And at first glance, I gotta be honest, that kind of made sense to me. But then when I decided to look into it a little more, the argument became kind of flimsy. Looking at Nintendo's profits from 2020 to now, they've had massive increases in profits percentage-wise, and then a very slight decrease in 2022. But their increases in profits the prior 2 years were more than enough to account for inflation over the past couple of years. But even if you still think that this is caused by inflation, then why would Nintendo not price any other games that are set to come out at $70? Everything else is still $60, so what's the deal? This argument just doesn't really add up. Another big argument I hear for this game costing $70 is that, quote, it's become the standard price of games now, so Nintendo should do it too. This argument is especially flimsy for multiple reasons. For one, Xbox and Sony's consoles are way more modernized than the Nintendo Switch. By the looks of the trailers we've seen for Tears of the Kingdom, the game looks choppier than this pile of onions. The Nintendo Switch is not holding up well anymore. Meanwhile, Xbox Series and PS5 games actually run incredibly well and look amazing, which at the very least is a little more of a justification for a $70 price tag. They provide not only a fun experience, but a smooth one too. I just don't think it's fair for Nintendo to look at this and say, yeah, this is about the exact same quality as a PS5 and Xbox title. No way, you morons! If Tears of the Kingdom can't even run on the console it's specifically developed for, then it's certainly not worth $10 more than its predecessor. The Nintendo Switch is showing its age at this point, and as Nintendo tries harder to test its limits, the console only becomes more and more pathetic. It's a really bad look for Nintendo. Imagine if Microsoft just didn't make a console after the Xbox One and then charged $70 for the games on it right through 2018. I feel like sometimes people just hold Nintendo to a lower standard in terms of their console performance, which is totally fine, unless they're gonna try to charge the new standard price for a game. You can't have your 150th anniversary Haribo Gold Bears now with Blue Raspberry and eat them too. But another problem with this $70 is the new standard price argument is that the standard is a totally arbitrary metric that's decided by the people who run multi-billion-dollar game companies. So, do they really have the best interest of the consumer in mind, or are they just focused on pushing the envelope of how much people will pay for a game? Just because a scummy practice is a standard doesn't mean we should just accept it with open arms. Like, look at some of these comments I've seen about the $70 price standard. What are you, poor? Not to be rude, but I could easily afford $70. What? I'm not poor, I'm trying to be smart with my money, you momo. Just because I have the money doesn't mean I should mindlessly fork it up no matter the price of something. Like if you got Honey Bunches of Oats on sale for $2 and Honey Nut Cheerios is $4, I'm gonna get the frickin' Honey Bunches of Oats. AAA video games where I live cost $110. Nintendo making their video games $70 is a blessing to me. Where the hell do you live? The 1980s? I may be wrong, but I am not aware of a single location that charges $110 for a game unless it's bundled with other things. But even if they did, why would Nintendo only charge $70 for their games there? They'd probably go along with the $110 pricing as well. Overall, Tears of the Kingdom costing $70 is a really bad idea. It's setting a potentially scummy standard for Nintendo's first-party titles, and I don't think we should be okay with that. What if they start charging this price for a game like Nintendo Switch Sports? It's a seriously slippery slope that we could end up sliding down really easily. I can hardly bear the fact that Xbox and PS5 games are becoming $70, never mind games for a 6-year-old console. But the last point I wanted to mention was that people are saying that Nintendo may be making this into a tiered pricing approach, where games that take less development will cost less, and games that take more development time will cost more. If this is the case, I would be thrilled about it. Games like New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, a port of a Wii U title, and Super Mario Odyssey Odyssey, one of, if not the greatest 3D platformers to date, should not both cost $60. But the issue I worry might arise from tiered pricing is that all the tiers are going to be up in the $60s or $70 range. Tiered pricing is only going to be good for the consumer if the games had a range of like $40 to $70, so we could actually get what we pay for. But I don't think that would be the case if Nintendo starts doing tiered pricing. I think they just keep it between $60 and $70, which is why I don't love the tiered pricing idea either. But whether we like it or not, Tears of the Kingdom will indeed cost $70. So the question is, will it still be worth buying? For me, I don't think it is. Obviously, I'm sure many people who love the first Breath of the Wild are more than happy to fork up the $70, and they definitely will. However, I think many casual gamers who wanted to try Zelda out for the first time might be deterred by this price. I guess Nintendo's whole philosophy behind this game pricing is that since less people are gonna buy a sequel anyways, they might as well try to get more profit out of it. I guess we'll see how this pays off. I mean, the higher price is probably gonna deter a good deal of people from buying the game, but the dedicated Breath of the Wild fanbase is probably still gonna buy the game at the higher price. So we'll see how the profits end up looking. In conclusion, I'm Tricky Nick, and Nintendo is stinky and they also smell bad. This Tricky Nick production was brought to you by Pal EX, Robert, British Chicken, and Matthew P. Thanks for watching.